Thought we'd start today, since we're going to talk a little bit about recycling leads, with a pretty good quote. So every day do something that will inch you closer to a better tomorrow. Meaning kind of that old quote, every day do something that scares you. Inching closer to a better tomorrow, sometimes you do have to get out of your comfort zone. And I know with a lot of us, working old leads is out of that comfort zone. We want those fresh leads, we want those easy leads. But there's surprisingly a lot of money left on the table with working old leads. About 10 years ago, I was working with a friend, and her and I, we did not like working our old leads. Let's just be honest with that. So what we used to do is we actually used to switch lead lists, and it'd be hilarious because, I'd say any lead that you get, that you call, you close is yours. And just kind of the little smirk we'd have on each other. So we would try things because they weren't technically ours on stuff that would get us out of our comfort zone. So every day, do something that will inch you closer to a better tomorrow. So happy Motivation Monday, everybody. If this is your first Monday, here's the Motivation Monday, not first Monday. This is the order that we're going to go through. So it'll be a tip of the week. We'll go through a sales shout out, of course, take a look who our leaders are and what we're selling, and then we're going to hit recycling old leads. Pretty quick and to the point. So tip of the week, I wanted to throw up a few things that are going on with a few of our different carriers. So first off, HII, I've gotten a few questions about this, and it's actually from HII to us. Please finish your training if you're looking to sell their new product, that new really great short term that they have launched out there. They do have an attestation training, meaning something that you have to go through and click the box at the end saying, yes, I have learned about this product. We all got an email blast about that, so please go through and finish that. We got notification from the head of product at National General that New Mexico on the 15th, which is why I wanted to make sure to say happy 8th, is going to be switching to a 3-month state. Any business that was written, of course, is going to stay the way it is. So if you do have any New Mexico pending business, please write it. And then the new one too, so UHC is adding 4 new states to their tri-term product on the 26th, which is a few weeks down the line. And so don't worry, I will remind us all again. But some of my favorite selling states are going to be on there, Florida and Kentucky, if anybody's wondering, which 2 of those are. Love working in both of those states. So if you are not appointed with UHC, I would be slightly shocked because we do a ton of UHC business, but those are the 4 states that they are adding the new tri-term product to. Sales shoutouts. And again, these meetings are trying to be quick. We want them to be about 15 to 30 minutes to get you back on the phone so we can go back and get our days moving. Our sales shoutouts today. So for a company, we really led our short-term sales with a lot of National General, not shocking on that one, and of course UHC. We're a big fan of them. With our limited med, we sold a lot of Manhattan Life. If you have not sold Manhattan Life, great limited med product. I know National General's new enhanced product, which is only in a handful of states, is fairly similar. So if you're getting kind of lazy and want to stick on one platform, of course you can do National General's, but I'm a big fan there of Manhattan Life's. The accident, of course, is the plan enhancer. That's almost every company in the whole industry. We all love that product. Critical illness, we've been selling a lot of CBL. I'm hoping to get JR there, maybe Jimmy, the guys there at CBL, to come do a training for us. That'd be pretty fun. And then dental with Emeritus. So Brian Durham there, he'll probably be doing a training for us in a couple weeks there with the Emeritus Dental. Now to look at who our sales leaders are. With short term, Katya, you actually took a week off last week, it looked like. So Mark, congratulations on taking first. Elaine taking second, then Katya taking third for our short term. Most all of them did lead there with National General. Limited med, Katya taking first, and then Paula taking second there. And then in our accident category, Glenn taking first and Elaine taking second. So good job to everybody there who are doing the sales shout outs. So let's jump into our quick topic. So there's going to be 4 quick, easy steps that you can do to go through and work on recycled leads. And some of the reasons why we take a look at recycling or reviving, as some people like to say, old leads, is one thing that we are super guilty on is we all focus on our quick, easy closes, right? You go through, you're working with a client, you get a batch of leads. I go through and I like to buy mine in hundreds, go through and I'm working it, and I get a few quick hits, yay. Then all of a sudden, those ones that are, take a little more work, like, oh, I'll get to, all of us can be guilty of that. And then we never get to it. So since we focus easily on our quick closes, we are leaving business on the table. The thing that is really great about our old leads is the work is already done a lot of the time. These people we've gone through, depending on what your contact rate is, we've gone through and talked to quite a few of them. They had to think about it, talk to their spouse, you know, all those good excuses or objections that we've heard in the past. Well, the work is already done with a lot of these, right? So with these works, I mean, you've done the legwork, you've done all of the investigation. Why not kind of, you know, maximize on them? You know, you've done the fact finding, you maybe even have pitched them. These could be a quick win because, you know, what have you been doing? Since we do pay for each one of these leads, and you know, since leads are free, right? No, not at all. Leads are expensive, right? It's just a really good cost solution to me. I like to go through, maybe close a few of them just because, you know, I've been working with the same lead sources, and now all of a sudden I get a little bored and I want to try something new. This is a great area to do it. The thing with old leads that I like to do is if I'm going through and I'm reading a new sales book, or I sit through a webinar, or all of a sudden I get this crazy idea, that's the ones that I do it in. I've already paid for them, I've already used them. Why not have a little bit of fun? And then the last, of course, you know, they help your personal conversion rate. I don't know if anybody cares. I care about mine. I could not tell you why. I'm very competitive against myself. So one of the reasons why I like to work my old leads is because, hey, I like to just say, you know what? I closed this percent. When I'm talking to my friends, I actually have huge group of agent friends that we go boating in down in Florida. When we get there, it's one of the things we like to tote, you know, just kind of what we're doing and how we're doing it. So 4 things. We're going to hit 4 different categories really quick. We're going to hit organization, motivation. We're going to talk about tailoring our scripts and, of course, doing solid follow-up. So the first one, let's talk about here. So how do I do it? I get questions on that, and you're wondering, why am I talking about recycling old leads? I actually built a large part of my business off of the old leads. It was one thing that I was very, very, very well known for in the industry. Would be going through and just cleaning up people's old records because I got a joy out of it. I'd even email the people whose leads I closed, being like, hey, guess what? I know they've talked to you, but man, what are you not doing? Just because I'm slightly competitive, and you know, some of us have a lot of fun. So what I did, let's just walk through my first few steps. I'd have a special old leads folder. If you've ever worked with me, which I know quite a few of you on the phone here have, I would call it my free pool. And I would sing Free Falling by Tom Petty, but sing Free Pooling as I kind of go through and do that. So I had these special folders that I would put them in. And how I actually did it is I had them organized by what kind of opportunity loss were they. So did they have to speak to their spouse? Why did they have a delayed decision? Did they go through and get a job at work? And I would very carefully organize them. The reason why is I like to stay in one mindset. So if I'm sitting there, I want to go through and hit everybody that I can who said, you know, I need to talk to my husband, I need to talk to my wife. Perfect. I can get in that mindset. I would go through and I'd just see a lot of notes. People need to talk to spouse, and they'd have no organization with it. If you've gone through and listen to any of my past webinars, you know, people say we can multitask, but we really can't. The more you can focus your attention on one specific thing, like for me, when I'm talking to, I'm keeping on picking on the spouse subject because we get those all the time. When I keep talking to the spouse people, then I can start working on my overcoming objections. So by the 3rd or 4th call, I'm already used to it. That objection is just going to come second nature to me. I don't have to sit there and kind of go through that little Rolodex in your head. Oh, okay, here's the overcoming objection that I have to do. No, you're already in that mindset. I would put mine in groups of 25. Put them in any number you want, of course, but I would do 25 because I could solidly do 25 in about 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how many people I talk to. I would do it, and of course, when people say, hey, please don't contact me again, right? Obviously, we're not going to contact them again. Or if, you know, somebody's like, I already went with another person, I'd actually just move them to a different folder and give them like a 3-month follow-up on that. But I would put them in the 25, and I actually reorganized them about monthly. Every time I go through and I'd hit them, and I'd actually block off time on my calendar, and I would specifically say what category I'd want to do. That's what I would be working through, right? And so as somebody'd say, remove me, I'd take them out. If I get a hold of somebody who says, you know what, my wife and I are still thinking about it, that's completely fine. You know, I still don't have the money. I don't have a credit card yet. All those old fun objections. So my first thing is I'd organize. I'd make special lead folders. I would make sure to consistently reorganize them. I'd put them in groups of 25, and then I would do a contact timesheet, right? Again, if you've ever heard of the old tick sheets, you can find them online. Just Google call tick sheet, and they'll see all the examples on them. I just go through and make sure I do my tick sheet. Why? Because it held me accountable. I'd set my goal. I have to get through 25. Funny enough, when I would set my goal, I'd have to get through 25. I'd give myself just a little bit of motivation, right? So I actually reward myself at the end. So the second has to be in the state of mind, right? So we talked a little bit about it. I like to work one lead set at a time. My reason why is I'm already in that mindset. I'm already ready for that objection. I'm already going towards it. I have my goals that I've personally set, which I talked about. I don't use my best times. I never have for that. If you're wondering what my best times are, they're always 10 and 2. Kind of like driving, I guess, holding the steering wheel. Those have been my best call times for a very, very long time, well over 10 years. 10 and 2. I wouldn't use those times unless all of a sudden I am just didn't get any good fresh leads that day and I'm just like, wow, I need something to do. And then I would reward myself. Actually, the lady who I'm talking, I was telling you about who we'd switch lead lists. What she would do is she would buy herself scratch off tickets. And so every time that she would set an appointment, not even make a sale, just set an appointment out of my old leads, she'd give herself a scratch off ticket. So she'd go to the gas station at the beginning of the week and maybe give 20 bucks in and get that. So small things like that. I am food motivated. So, oh, this is embarrassing. I loved ho-hos. If you guys have ever had those, they're little chocolate logs, that are rolled up there. And every time that I would set one, that's what I would give myself. I have since then gone into a more healthy direction, but back then that is exactly what I would do. What is the thing that's going to make you happy? Maybe give yourself a set of cash in the drawer. Put a whole set of 5s or 10s or 20s in there, and every time you set it, give yourself 20 bucks. Bam, look at that. You are paying yourself. So the other thing on this is going to be tailoring your scripts, right? So here's the thing with tailoring your scripts. A lot of people go through and say, well, when I work my old leads, I like to shame them. Never, ever, 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 ever do that. Don't ever be negative. Don't ever go through your voicemails and say, I have tried to contact you 37 times on this list, and this is obviously not important to you. Hey, I've reached out quite a bit. I'm not really sure what's going on in your life, but I know at one point this was interesting to you. I have talked to you before. You can, of course, say that, right? We actually did talk before, and this is what we talked about. I know it's at one point was something interested in you. When you do these, here's the thing about your scripting that's going to be very important. As somebody who's gone through, and I've been doing this for quite some time, when I hear negative, no one's ever going to call you back. No one wants to work with somebody negative ever. Second off, if you just say, hey, we've talked before, right? Yes, no. These are usually people who you have to coddle. These are people who you usually have to love a little more. So you need to start asking very friendly, open-ended questions. I know that we talked a little bit before in the past and you said you had to think about it. Has anything changed? What has changed? Those kind of questions. You said your son, when he fell and broke his arm, it cost you guys a lot of money. Has anything like that happened since? Is insurance something still that's important to you? All these happy, open-ended questions. And don't be afraid to talk about why did they originally call. So you went through, oh, you bought from somebody else. Great. We actually can do a free policy comparison because you can. We can absolutely do free policy comparisons for people. And don't forget to leave voicemails. The funny enough thing is when leads get old, people go, I don't ever want to leave them a voicemail. That's a lot of work. It's a lost time. No, leave them voicemails. Depending. If somebody hasn't had a voicemail in probably a month or two, they will listen, especially with all the fun things going on with phones, right? Now you just get your voice messages sent to you in a text. So as long as you can be clear and articulate, you should go through and your client will read it. Of course, don't be afraid to send text messages too. My biggest thing is when people say, do not call me, don't call them. Let's not get ourselves in trouble, right? And then, of course, when it comes to it, here's the funny thing. So I love cleaning up old leads. I told you that. And the thing is, because I'd always do exactly what I'd say. Somebody'd say, my husband had this serious condition. This was about 3 years ago. I was working with a lady. Her husband had a very serious condition. Two agents actually said that they were going to look up how they can go through and get this condition treated. They never called her back, right? Why? Because first off, they needed an ACA plan and those agents knew they weren't going to make any money. I went through and did it, right? I made, I think it was $14 off of this, but that lady became a huge referral lead source. Why? Because I did follow up. I got a handwritten thank you from her, literally saying, I want to thank you for doing what you said you were going to do. I've worked with people in your industry and they don't do that. And you think it's funny and you're going to kind of roll your eyes. I'd be shocked at how many times people just don't call back. This person is going to be too much work. I don't mind working with the people who are too much work. I will tell you my best referral sources throughout the years have been the people who I put a lot of time into and probably haven't made a ton of money off of up front. It's kind of the old karma, right? You invest in good karma, you're going to get good karma back. So the thing is, when you tailor your scriptings, make sure they're open. But when people say, hey, here's my situation, you said, you know what, I'm going to call you back, or I need to look into that, make sure to do it. And don't be afraid to go above and beyond. Someone else has dropped the ball. If you know the philosophy of leads, it's somebody has worked that lead before. No matter how fresh and how new it is, I go in with knowing that somebody has worked that lead before. What do I have to do to be different is I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to show them what I call the red carpet treatment. I treat everybody like a celebrity on the red carpet when I work with them as a client. And I know that somebody else dropped the ball. So for me, it's very easy to pick up the ball and know that, hey, you know what I'm going to be doing is just going above and beyond and working a little harder for that. Great leads, you can obviously make a lot of money. What I like to do though is hit my 4 quick points again. As I go through, I organize them in pools of 25. I work on my non-main times. I go through, I set myself a personal reward, and I highly recommend you do that too. Find out what is your self-motivator. If it's money, give yourself a stack of money to work through and pay yourself as you go. If it's going to be, you know, the gambling, go through the scratch off, right? Set yourself a little scratch off, reward yourself that way. If you are like me and are food motivated, put that food motivation for you there. Kind of incentivize yourself. So organize the 25s, block them off on your calendar, reorganize them, go through, give yourself personal motivation, tailor your scripts to remove any negative. Because I will tell you, any negative you give will scare those people away. And then, of course, make sure to do exactly what you said you're going to do. If you do these 4 small steps, reorganize them, put them in groups of 25, work through them, make sure to do it at least twice a week. Set yourself 2 call times to work old leads. If you can, if you have somebody else who's in the industry, feel free to switch lead lists. Me, that is one of the best things I've ever done, right? Gone through, switch a lead list. Why do that too? My other thing is, when I have somebody else's lead list, I kind of like to call in the dark, right? I'm not going to go through, read anybody's notes. Why? Because I want to come in with the fresh eyes. I want to not be, you know, just another agent. I want to be your last agent that you're going to work with, right? And don't say that threatening, obviously, but I mean the last agent. I want to be your agent for life. That is my goal. So organized motivation, tailored scripts, keep them positive. Let them know, hey, you know, we have called before, but I just want to make sure that this is something that's still important. And of course, do exactly what you said you are going to do. It seems funny, it seems weird, but if you just do that, you're going to get yourself some pretty good referral sources. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us here at training@ahcpsales.com. You can say, hey, Dan, I do have a few questions on working my old leads. If you have any questions about any of those carriers that we went through today or need to get contracted with them, we do have that whole agency services department. I always want you to know that they do have my phone number. They feel free to reach out to them at any time. If you need anything, please let me know. Other than that, these are kind of quick. They're posted on YouTube on Wednesdays, just to let you know. They are also posted in the training section here at ahcpsales.com. But have a great week, and I will talk to you all next Monday.